It's this is Monday. The sun is almost going down, so I didn't get started in the morning like I planned to. But that's the great thing about naming the show. I might be late on Monday because I can start it whenever I want to. Maybe not even on Monday. That was kind of the genius marketing and branding. Speaking of genius marketing and branding, we're going. Today's topic is going to be centered and based on. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about. I might be late on Monday before I get into it. If you're just tuning in the first time watching this, whenever this catches you, like, subscribe, share, comment, gets helps the algorithm pick me up into your algorithm. And I might be late on Monday. It's just essentially just whatever's going on, whatever crosses my algorithm, and whatever uh, piques my interest or catches my eye as I scroll my timelines on social media, just in life. And of course, algorithms are based on or curated by what you think and what you feel and what you are into and what you showed interest in. So your algorithm is usually just a mirror of where you are at the time you are that thing. So your algorithm is a creation of your own imagination and what you, not even your own imagination, but what you put energy in. And so, which is why I love the algorithm, because it shows you exactly who you are, the people that you surround yourself with, that you come and cross with, that cross your moon, an eclipse, if you will. But so I just, whatever crosses my algorithm makes me think, makes me want to know what's going on with it, or why people think this way, or why people are responding to certain things this way in their algorithm. And it all is a microcosm of the energy that I'm putting out. It's the same energy that I'm attracting. And so I might be late on Monday. It's just whatever is bombarding me, it hit me throughout the previous week or the weekend leading up to Monday or Tuesday, whenever I decide to go live and do this. This week is no exception. Trying to be more consistent with this particular uh, iteration of my live stream, and by naming it, putting it on somewhat of a schedule as best I can. Even if the schedule is just naming it something that has a day in it so that I have something to aim for. But what's been dominating my algorithm and dominating my headlines, among other things, is this new Clipse album. The new Clipse album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. Clipse is, of course, a collection of two brothers, Pusha T, Malice. And this goes back to my childhood, 25 years, 23, 25 years ago, when I was still in high school, and a song called Grinding came out, where it just sounded like somebody beating a beat at the lunch table, unorthodox, and two dudes just rapping monotone cocaine raps. And in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, cocaine raps were the rage. You know what I mean? So now, with that being said, I was never, I won't say never, but when Clipse came out, I wasn't a huge Clipse fan. It was, even though they from Virginia, which is technically the South, they had a more kind of up north feel, and I'm from the South. Even though I fell in love with hip hop kind of up north, like, with Mace and Jay Z. Like, my favorite rappers growing up were like Mace, Jay Z, those kind of people who rap, with a hint of Dungeon Family, which is the South, but they kind of had their own flavor, so you can't really pinpoint it to just anything. But anyway, I wasn't a huge Clips fan. You know what I mean? I was, at that time, I was kind of going from the South. I mean, going from the East Coast, New York rap, Jay Z. So 2002, 2003, I was still listening to Jay Z, and Jadakiss had put out an album around in that 2002, 2003 era, his first solo. I was still listening to that. But also, what was happening in 2003, 2002, 2003, it was ushering in, was the Jeezy, the Snowman was starting to pump out heavy. Um, 50 Cent, which of course 50 Cent from Queens, but he kind of had a more universal appeal. He kind of had like a southern simplistic form, and he had the folklore ushering them into the mainstream. So 50 Cent and those guys was dominating my algorithm around, 2003, 2002, 2001. that was my kind of algorithm. So I wasn't a huge Clipse fan at the time. Of course, grinding is a phenomenon. The beat, the beat and the drum pattern, of course, is like more the staple in that song, but it's a classic record, right? So, but I wasn't not a Clipse fan either. I didn't buy the CDs. I wasn't knee deep into it, right? I just thought they were twin brothers who rap good. Don't know where they from. Probably from New York. Wasn't deep into it. Just know Pharrell was backing them. And Pharrell was on fire. Anyway, so from there we go from fast forward. They're moving. They got the was it Laura Willing? They had Laura Willing, and they had and they moved on. For some reason, Malice, which is the older brother, decided that I don't want to do the Clipse thing no more. And so then Pusha T went on his run, and which was around 2009, 2010 area, right? That's more my speed. I'm more an adult. I'm out of high school. I'm living life. At that time, Two Chains had transitioned from Titty Boy, and it was the resurgence or the introduction of old dudes rapping good and still rapping. You know, before Pusha T, Clipse, even Jay Z. Even though we kind of hold Jay Z at a different level than everyone else. So like, even though he was the older guy who kept rapping and put out albums, we just look at him like Jay Z. He kind of transcended the genre. But Pusha T, and Two Chains were an example of you can still be a rapper and be old, reinvent yourself, rebrand. They pretty much kind of they kind of invented the rebrand for a rapper to say, hey, let me try something else. Before then, rap was very much a young man's game, still is now, but now there's a more wide range because there's hip hop's got older, and the rappers who were in it, they got older. The people who like it got older, so you had to have some kind of like adult contemporary rap version. But anyway, that's when I kind of got into Pusha T a little bit more than I was with the Clipse. You know what I mean? And Clipse went on. I mean, Pusha T went on a run. He got with Kanye, and Kanye. That was pretty much like a match made in heaven at the time, and he was putting out records and writing and whatever he was doing with Kanye, he was doing with Kanye, right? So I was kind of developed an affinity for Push, and then even started listening to some albums, like the albums that he was putting out. He put out some dope individual solo projects, and I went from those to go back and listen to the old Clipse, listen up to the Re-Up Gang stuff and all that stuff, Ab Lava, and all these people. I went back and listened to all that stuff. Oh, this is good. Malice was Malice was kind of like Malice is kind of like he was kind of like Jay Z. He kind of was like the Jay Z of it. I look at Clipse. I'm jumping all over the place to get to the point of what this conversation is about, but I look at Clipse as like two sides of what Jay Z is. I feel like Malice is like the serious introspective message portion of what Jay Z is, and I look at Pusha T as like the flamboyant dope boy half of Jay Z. So as I've gotten older, I kind of looked at Clipse as kind of like the baby of Jay Z over Pharrell Beats, and this album it was essentially that, you know. Now 23 years since Laura Willing and the Clipse are back together making dope way rap tunes, and they're like 48 and 52. Wow, my childhood rappers are grandfather ages. I'm getting old, but with that being said, this first of all, it had no choice but to land on my algorithm because they kind of dominated the algorithm with the rollout, which is what I want to touch on too. But before I say that, um, so finding these guys on this algorithm, and I've been finding these this clips, and they're rolling out, and they setting the foundation to promote this. You know, as I've gotten older, and I through my life and radio and podcasting and broadcasting in general, I had to learn marketing because that's very important in broadcasting, and I realized that for some reason or another, and I have theories on why this is, but I won't go down that rabbit hole and go into it right now. But we've kind of throughout the rollout, we've lost the power of promotion and marketing, which of course I know why, because a lot of people are independent, and a lot of people, there's less money with streaming and that kind of stuff. So the things that labels and things people were doing to market a product, to sell it, to make money, is not something that they necessarily taught. You just kind of see like you kind of see things in your face, and you don't realize that it's placed in your face strategically for a reason. Everything is done for a reason. Where they wear the clothes, creating a story or a persona. It's a reason why rappers and musicians have a persona. Oh, he's so cool, he's so mysterious. He's a drug dealer, or he was a killer, or he was a school kid. These are a part. These are marketing tools. These are marketing, creating a persona, cre- uh, which is how you dress, how you think, how you look, backstory, that kind of stuff. That's a part of a introduction to an artist, and then that introduction to an artist is a part of rolling out everything that artist does from here until till they decide that it's no longer working, or they need to reinvent themselves. But anyway, the marketing uh, part, which is the most important part of which is the most important part of anything. So anything in business is based on identifying a consumer, creating a need, selling that need to your consumer, right? Whether it's entertainment or music or self-worth, whatever you're selling, right? That's the nature of business in general, is to be able to create a need, sell that need, right? Um, and that's the same with music. And for some reason, we've abandoned the rollout portion of promoting your music and putting out music, or putting out your business. Everybody has kind of like a lottery ticket idea of how um, being a musician or anything business related or self help is like a lottery ticket ideal of it, where they don't think it requires any work or any forward thinking or push through. But what I enjoyed about what I enjoyed about what Clipse did, even before we even get to any of the music, is that of course they had their separation from Def Jam, and there was a lot of yellow tape, and even them separating from Def Jam, they used that as a part of their marketing. And they say, oh, it's because of we had the Kendrick verse, and they didn't want the Kendrick verse on there, so we separated, and we took a stand, and we paid ourselves out. Even these stories being leaked and put out is a part of building a narrative, and a and used as a promotional tool. Oh my God, what did Kendrick say? How they left Def Jam, and that's a part of the marketing and the rollout. But anyway, so they got with Rock Nation, which Rock Nation has become this machine, especially for promotion, marketing. They become the largest and biggest marketing leg in hip hop, and becoming fast in entertainment. You know, after they partner with Live Nation, of course, it's Jay-Z, Rock Nation, all those things combined. So what they did in conjunction with creating good music, they got they got with Pharrell, and it's a reunited. That's a marketing portion of the story. Marketing is essentially a storyline, making people buy into a story or an idea. So they get with Pharrell. That's a marketing. That's a portion of the marketing. Um, Pharrell is creative director of Louis Vuitton, and so he's staying in the Louis Vuitton headquarters. So then they moved to Europe for a year and a half and recording the Louis Vuitton headquarters and create a studio right in the headquarters and trying on clothes and walking down these runways and just in the midst of the fashion. So that's another piece. All luxury, cocaine, high level, dope boy rap. We drink Louis Vuitton. It's so opulent and decadent that we're recording at the Louis Vuitton headquarters. That's another marketing piece, right? Um, what's in the music once the music comes out? Oh, there's some bars he got for Travis Scott. There's some bars he got for Jim Jones, and there's some bars he got for Drake, and he got Drake's enemies. He got Kendrick Lamar. What's Kendrick Lamar gonna say? And these are all things that are part of the rollout, right? Now these are more dinosaur rollout tools. The music, the storyline, the enigmatic storylines and everything leading up to it, location and building, painting a picture for people to buy into what the music is supposed to be about. That's old school marketing. New school marketing is what, well, even back, we'll stay on old school for now. Hitting the radio stations, hitting the major market radio stations, and now with the internet, the major market radio stations are more the major radio stations that have successfully transitioned to like YouTube and online, like Power 105 with the Breakfast Club or Hot 97 at a lower rate. 10, what is it in Cali with Big Boy, and the other one with Cruz. Um, yeah, so those like major entities that have transitioned. So like hitting, so those represent the radio stations, terrestrial radio. They go to terrestrial radio and they do the interviews. They talk about all this stuff that the created narrative that they've created to push this project. The things that we named about Pharrell and Paris and fashion and luxury rap, and we left Def Jam and they didn't like the Kendrick verse, and Kendrick sent it right over, and this that Jay-Z's supposed to be on this, and then Nas came, and they do those rounds. Now also what they did is they hit all the online blog spots and internet. You know what I mean? They hit the Joe Budden podcast, and they hit Elliot Wilson, and they hit Complex, and they, you know what I mean? And they just churned, right? And got back to what I think artists should take note of is getting back to really marketing your projects, right? So of course I did terrestrial radio, and I transitioned to doing podcasts in Orlando. I basically did a live podcast, and I basically had aspiring artists, local artists, independent artists, some signed artists come on and do the podcast with me before podcast 7, 8 years ago. And the more accessible studio equipment became, and being able to upload your music, and the less people did the little things, or the more steps people skipped. The more steps people skipped as far as marketing and promotion, and even mixing and mastering their music, or understanding mixing and mastering. Uh, with the internet, the internet has given us information at our fingertips. They've given us so much information that most people skip steps because they just got so much of the information coming up at one time. So it's people who know a lot about music, the music business, and at the same time know nothing about the music business. You know what I mean? And the majority of the viewing and the viewing public and people who watch and consume entertainment and music have no idea that they're being marketed to. They have no idea why things are done and things so they believe stories, they believe whatever they see on the internet, and because they believe everything on the internet or whatever they read or see, they don't really completely and fully understand what's actually happening, how things work. And those people who are consuming this stuff also have aspirations and desire to be musicians or rappers or singers or actors, and they have half-ass consumed information, and then they're trying to build from that information that they build from, but they haven't actually done any real work or really dive deep into the mechanics and the inner workings of how things work. So a lot of people who are aspiring artists, again, like I said, are approaching it with a lottery ticket mentality. Hey, I'm going to do this song. It's going to blow up on TikTok, and I'm going to be touring the world, which it just doesn't work that way. You have to, even almost more important than making the art is knowing how to market and sell it. That's the name of the game. So the Clipse with this album and the way they rolled it out is a great example and a microcosm on how to create something, market it to people who would want to see it, right? And on whatever scale you're on, you're able to do that. If you're a local artist or a local rapper, or musician, or singer, you can hit every blog and everybody who does a podcast and everybody who has these things in place locally or close by to you. Reach out to them. Hey, I'm doing an album and I want to come talk about it in front of the 17 people who watch your thing, or the 100 people or the 1,000 people. Reach out to blogs that are accessible. Create something that can be shown. You know what I mean? Have a plan, and so with the clips coming across my algorithm in such a way, everything everywhere I turned, Clipse was on there. Everything that I watched, they were a part. They were on it. I watched Joe Budden podcast. They found it. They were on that. I watched The Breakfast Club. They were on that. I watched Complex interviews. They were on that. I watched, and they just were on everything. And let's get back to that. Let's get back to caring enough about what we're creating, so that we can push forward. And that's what this taught me, is more so about how they decided to get this music out to the masses than the music. The album to me was incredible. I enjoyed it. But this isn't a music blog. I enjoyed the album, well put together. Everything worked in perfect formation and as a part of the plan to make things happen. Tell me what you guys think about even the album. Tell me what you guys think about the album, and also tell me if you guys would like for me to go into detail about albums and music and that kind of thing. Whatever you like for me to talk about, hit me in the comments, and I'll definitely do my best to oblige. Right now it's 7:20 p.m. on Monday. See you guys next week. Could be in the morning, could be in the afternoon, could be on Tuesday. Well, actually, it's 7:20 on Tuesday. I've been saying Monday the whole time. See, but it's actually Tuesday. But hey, I might be late on Monday. Might be on a Tuesday. For all things Jus'Black, subscribe to this channel. You scroll down this channel and you'll see all the podcasts that I'm affiliated with or on. Let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe. And as always, man, thank you for watching.